got this muck spreader tipped over in a very smooth and controlled manner, and just working on cutting the top off basically by running a grinder along these two lines. There's like a base plate, and I want to leave the bit of the plate which is attached to the drawbar, and obviously all the running gear, you know, which attaches to the springs and then your axles. I want to leave that in place and just cut the middle out with the barrel included. That's the plan. And then we've got something to work with then, and we can get rid of the barrel, because that's just I don't think there's anything of any use on it really. There's a big piece of channel runs right along the middle. That would probably be the only thing that might be of any use, but the rest of it just all wants scrapping, I would say. Well, we're on the 5th of March now, and I don't think we've actually had any rain for the whole of March. So the yard's been drying up a bit. We got rid of 2 pigs. We took the 2 bigger ones to the butchers. They could have been a bit bigger, but there was enough on them to get some pork back. So, and we were desperate for some meat for the freezer, so they've gone, and then these 2 have got a bit more space. I don't know whether I said in the last video, but one of them died, and we have no idea what was wrong with it. This little one at the front and the one that died got really badly ill, and this one we think went a bit blind, and I think it still is a little bit blind, but you see how it's walking around with its head in the air. But it's doing all right. It's eating, and it's gained a lot of condition to what it was, but we don't know whether they got a bit dehydrated, because maybe they didn't figure out how to use the drinkers straight away, and didn't really think about that until they'd been in there 2 or 3 days, by which time we gave them water. But I don't know, maybe some of the damage had been done, not sure. We've never had that issue before. I've never had any pigs that haven't figured out how to use the nipple drinker, but the 2 bigger ones, the 2 saddleback ones that were half grown, one of them couldn't figure out how to use it, and it never did the whole time it was here. It was here for a month or more, and it never figured it out. So every time its mate went to drink, it would run over and push him out of the way and drink what was in the bowl, and it was relying on him for getting its water. So, which is bizarre. I've never known. I mean, I've had pigs for the last. We've had pigs for the last 12 years, and I've never known one not figure out how to use a drinker straight away. So the fact that we've bought a bunch of 5 and 2 of them, or maybe more, haven't figured it out is a bit strange. But anyway, I just set some mole traps yesterday, so I'm just going to go and check them. This ground's dry enough to do some mole trapping, and I've done some rolling. Done some more rolling. I left my roller here because I just thought I'll start at the top of this field, which is the driest, work my way down till I got to the wetter, till I got to the point where it was too wet, and I ended up doing way more than I thought I would. And then I started on this bit, and to be fair, it's doing a really good job in here as well, because there's some ruts, some tractor ruts nearer the hedge. So yeah, got a big chunk. Well, we've got a big chunk of the rolling done. What have we done? Maybe 40 acres. Well, nearly 40 acres, and we're only just in the beginning of March. So, right, here's where we put my traps. See what we can find. There's one. Nope, nothing there. Nothing there. No activity. Take my trowel, because I don't know whether me rolling in this field might have put the moles off. Anyway, we'll go into the next field and have a look at those traps. Oh, you can tell just walking across this field, it's so much flatter. It was really poached, and the rolling that we did last year did absolutely nothing. And seeing how dry this is now at this time of the year compared to my other fields, it's no wonder the rolling did nothing last year, because it was probably like May time by the time we did it, and it was absolutely bone dry. So it was a waste of time really, but it was that rough, we just wanted to do whatever we could. But this year it's going to be a different story altogether. This is loads nicer to walk across, and also there's loads of grass. We had a look at a couple of fields last night, and this block of land here is way greener, and the grass looks way nicer than some of my wetter fields. They look a bit yellow really, and they've all had the same amount of muck, so I just don't think the grass is like sitting wet all winter. Bit of a disappointing start to the mould trapping. There hasn't really been any activity since I put them in yesterday, so we'll leave them till tomorrow, and then I'll try and find some fresh. If nothing's caught, then I'll move them. Try and find some fresh molehills, but there's been nothing happen last night. There's no new molehills, so maybe it was a bit cold, I don't know. We've got 10 eggs, is that? 3, 6, 7, 8, 8 eggs. 8 eggs today. We had 4 eggs yesterday. The day before we had 3 eggs, and then on the first day we had 2 eggs. So we're getting there slowly. Well, yesterday I managed to get the axle off the muck spreader, but it was a lot harder than I first thought it would be, because it had extra welded supports that were welded to the inside of the drum, that went to these bottom plates, which were a right pig to get off, because we had to basically just guess where they were and cut them from the inside of the barrel. But got it off anyway, so those plates will hopefully straighten out. We've got some channel here that I'm gonna cut it open and work out how long what sort of a length trailer we can make with what we've got, or maybe get some more to add to this. Ideally we want a 20-foot trailer. It's just the trouble is with it being a 20-foot trailer, the wheels are going to be right in the middle of the trailer, which means you're going to have to be really careful loading it. There'll be a lot of overhanging weight off the back, so it might not be 20 foot, it might have to be 18 foot, the same as the one we've got. But it would be great if we could go an extra foot or a bit more bigger than the green one we've got, because that one just won't fit 10 bales on the floor stood up when you're doing haylage. It's fine for silage, you can get 10 on it lay on their sides, but when you're doing hay bales or haylage bales, you want to stack them on ends really, and you can't quite fit those last 2 on the end. But we'll see. Anyway, Dan's getting on, nearly finished with his packing shed, so the inside. So I'm just making some gutter ends for the lean-to car park bit. We need I've got an end with a downspout on, so I'll have to drill it and weld a piece of tube on like I did with the others, and then just an end piece to go at the top end, with 2 flat ends on each one. So I'm just doing that. purchase, a 3-phase mechanical hacksaw, which actually looks in reasonably good nick. It just needs a plug putting on the end of the cable. And then we got this tyre machine, which doesn't look as in quite good nick. Might want a bit of a refurb, but we have always wanted a tyre machine, so now we've got one. Anyway, it's the 9th of March. It's forecast to start raining in about an hour or so. So I'm going to see if we can get my fert spreader down and go and spread me 1 bag of fertiliser. I have attempted, or hopefully I have, ordered a load more. But it's not going to turn up for a couple of weeks. As usual, I'm always a bit late ordering fertiliser because never seem to be able to have the funds to do it. But luckily, we have spread a load of digestate on almost all of our fields, so nothing's going to be completely without any nitrogen because it's had it at the back end. But I'm going to go and spread this field on the this bag on the Westerwold field, because that had no manure or digestate or muck or anything at all, and it's growing like mad, and it wants a bit of a top up. So we'll go and we'll see if we can lock these pigs back and get the fertiliser spreader down and get it on the tractor quickly before it rains. Thought I'd show you where we're up to with this trailer build. So cut the long piece in half that we need. So I'm going to weld. I've got two pieces that are about 12 foot long, and then I've got a piece that was, I don't know, was it 14 foot, which I've cut in half, and I'm going to weld 7 foot onto each of the 12, if that makes sense. But they're two different size pieces of channel. One's a 9-inch, one's a 10-inch. It's a little bit annoying, but it's not really a big deal because we're going to use this piece here that I've cut off the muck spreader as the front brace. So that's what the two long pieces are going to sit on, is that. And that's not as tall as this pad here that we're going to sit on, because we're going to leave this. In hindsight, as Dan said, I should probably have just cut these running gear brackets off, and just and then the whole plate would have come off, and it might have been a little bit easier. It still would have been a big job, to be fair, because you'd have to have cut this plate under here. But anyway, I decided to leave these plates on, and I'm just going to weld to them. So the way it's measured out is that my 7 foot will come from the front up to this notch that I've cut out basically in it, and the notch will sit in there, and then the 9-inch piece will sit on top of those plates. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how we're getting away with having 2 different size channels anyway. So the top of this piece will be flat and flush, and that'll be the top of your of the trailer where the bed's going to fasten to. So this is what I've done. I've just that's the step. I've just cut a little piece out and welded it in, so we're ready now to flip this over and do the long weld along the top. So yeah, just welding bits of scrap together, basically trying to make things on a budget, because that's what we get the enjoyment out of, really. It's fun taking an old muck spreader like that and sort of turning it into something else, and then all these bits are just stuff I've picked up in sales. I think they were being used as sheep troughs or something before. Bit overkill, but dogs find this kind of work quite boring. They'd rather be chasing cattle around, or sheep. Cam's a bit of a cattle dog. He's a much better cattle dog than he is a sheep dog. He seems to just know how much force to give a beef animal, rather than with sheep he pushes them way too hard and way too fast. But with cattle, it's like he knows exactly how far to push them and how to move them, and he's a different thing altogether. We found his niche, we found his job, definitely. If you want to sort cattle out, you can take him in a pen with you, and he's a lot more help than he is hindrance. So yeah, got me 1 bag of fert spread yesterday. And I've ordered some more, but I don't think it'll be here for probably nearly another month, so we're just going to have to hope that all the muck and digestate we spread will do its job. Running very low on straw, so the cattle are just going to have to lump it. Luckily, when the weather's like this, the bed stayed dry, so I'm not too worried about them getting too mucky. So yeah, I'm just going to try and tick a few of these jobs off on this trailer and see how far I can get with it. We might have to park it to one side, because the closer it's getting to grass season, we have got a few other jobs we need to do. There's the rake needs a bit of work doing to it, which I'm hoping will be Dan's next project, really, because he's pretty much finished the packing shed. Obviously we've got the glass roof to put on, the lean-to, and he's just got a few other bits and bobs to do. We've got plumbing, a sink and things like that, but the bulk of it's finished, so hopefully we can get him back onto some of this machinery. Rake needs doing, and there's a couple of I think there's just little jobs on the baler to do, tines to replace and things like that. So if this starts taking too long, we might have to park out of the way and switch jobs, but I'm just going to have a go at it for the next day or two and see what we can do, because it's too wet to do any more rolling or any more field work yet. So while I've got the time, I'm just going to crack on. Hens are laying. Hens are at about 6%, are they? We got over a tray yesterday, so they'll be coming in to lay fast. But it's only 1 shed, so it's not going to be a huge amount of work. And then I think we've got about 5 or 6 weeks before the next lot comes, so then the egg jobs will start ramping up a bit. Then we'll have to start packing some, I would have thought. So yeah, anyway, so that's the update. Yeah, you see, you've got a bit of lubrication on it. That's it. Hasn't stopped though. Have to adjust it a bit, back a bit. It should be, when it gets down to a point, it automatically kicks it out of gear. Oh, like that. So what press is that then? This. Oh, I see. It just pushes. Oh, I see. Right, yeah. Just to come back a bit. So I wonder what's the biggest thing you can cut there. How high can you lift it up? Well, it only goes as high as that far.
eggs are coming thick and fast. I've just rolled these off this morning, so I think we got about 6 trays yesterday. I actually did a bit of grading this morning, run some through the grader. The grader still seems to be working. We've just got to figure out where we're going to set everything up. We're going to need tables pretty much all the way round. We've got a shelf to put in somewhere with all the bits and bobs on the shelving. We'll have to have packaging somewhere. We think there's going to be a sink we'll put here. And then at some point we might need to put a boiler in that corner, but for the summer I don't think we need to worry about that. So yeah, it's quite nice, very spacious, but by the time we get it full of tables, I think we'll soon fill it up. But yeah, eggs are starting to come. I'm starting to get back on the grading, so grader seems to be work. Dan's washed it all off because they do get quite manky graders, and the idea of having it sat here rather than having it stuck in a corner is we'll hopefully be able to get to it to maintain it and clean it a lot easier. But yeah, he's cleaned it off and oiled it all up and it seems to be working. I haven't calibrated it, but nothing seemed to be way out, so yeah, pleased.
Just jacking it up to check that it's level, because it's only got the front axle on. It's not sat how it will be sat with both axles, so I wanted to just see whether or not it will be alright. But yeah, even with it jacked up, I think it's a little bit lower at the back than it will be at the front, which isn't something I kind of foresaw, but there's things we can do. I think we'll probably put some extra plates under the leaf springs to just lift that the whole trailer up above, away from the wheels, because I think as it is, the deck of the trailer is going to be quite close to the wheels, especially when it's fully loaded, and when the suspension's moving. So if we put another 10mm plate, it'll just give it that bit of clearance, and then it'll help level the trailer off as well. And the other thing we could do, if it's still too low at the back, is drop the hitch down a bit at the front, weld a new hitch on top, and that would drop it down an inch at the front and lift it up an inch at the back. But I don't think we'll be too far off. But it's really hard to tell without having the axle on how it's going to sit. But I think we're definitely going to want a bar on the back anyway to hold the bales on. But yeah, I'm just going to weld these plates. I've just cut some plates to go in the open bits at the end of the channel. So I'm going to weld them in, and then that'll strengthen the back up then. And then we can start looking at these rails. I think I've actually got enough rails from my scrap pile to probably have to do the trailer. All we're going to need to buy is some steel sheeting. And some side pieces. I think we want a bit of box, or a bit of rectangle box, to go along the edge of your cross pieces, just to finish the side of the trailer off, and that'll take the weight of a strap. If you had a strap going from your chassis round, you want something reasonably strong along the edge, and then something to weld your floor plate to as well. So yeah, it's quite exciting really. Well, it's the middle of March, so I'm gonna finish this video here. It's not a huge amount gone on in this video, but I'll see what I've got to upload and put it into a video. Just brought the rake home, hopefully get Dan working on this, because we're getting closer and closer to cutting grass time, aren't we really? It's sneaking up and there's a lot of grass about. We're going to do some work trying to just take some of the play out of this. We bodged it last year. This bit of the frame cracked and we were in the middle of the season and we just threw a load of weld on it and bodged it. But we want to do something a bit better. This is the rake fully extended, which is how we want to use it. And at the most, we'd only really ever want to pull it into here. Probably never even there, but definitely never there, because if it's pulled into all the way into there, the rotors are near enough touching each other, and it doesn't matter what you're rowing up, it tends to throw the stuff into the other rotor and then it tends to throw it back out again. So you can never make a row that small, or even this small really. So we've been running it like this for years, but last year we realised that if we run the rake right out at its biggest setting, it makes a much nicer swath for our baler, and it makes much nicer bales, and you cover the ground, gives you an extra foot of cover. So this is how we're going to run it, but we're thinking, because we're never going to use this, we might as well extend this box and extend this box, and in the process we might add some weld onto these, because this box has got a lot of wear in it and it twists, which is what makes the rotors lean back when you're raking, which means you have to run this right down on the ground, otherwise it misses bits of grass. Don't know whether that makes any sense, but by extending it, we can, in the process, hopefully take a lot of the rotor tilt play out, which means hopefully it will miss less grass. That's the long-winded way of explaining it, but that's what we're thinking anyway. So we're going to pull both rotors off and see if we can reinforce the box and extend them, if we can find some box the same size, because we're never going to want to have it all the way in, I don't think. So that's really one of the main jobs we want to get done before we start cutting grass. And I want to do a bit of work to this roller. I just want to weld another hitch on it so that you can pick it up with a pickup hitch instead of the drawbar, because I've got a few little rolling jobs to do for other people, and then we might want to use that roller ourselves. It's not as heavy, that one, but it's dead handy to take down the road. We could make it heavier by taking the ends off, let all the water out and fill it up with sand, which I was thinking of doing, which I might do yet, don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's all for this one anyway, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully it warms up a bit and the grass starts getting a bit of sugar in it. Bye for now.